my name is Emily Joy Varvel and you have stumbled upon my booktube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Disney book tag as actually my first video that I've ever posted on or about booktube ever. I was in a friend's booktube video. I'll link the video in the description, so if you guys want to check that out you can. Her name is Reagan and she's part of Reagan Reads, also another booktuber like myself. And ever since then I have been wanting to film my own video. And thanks to a class that I'm taking about YA, I have finally been forced to kind of push myself out there and start up this thing that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. So we're going to start off with the Disney book tag, which was originated by Disney Hyperion, and it was originated because Melissa de la Cruz wrote a book called Isle of the Lost. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. It's a prequel book to the Descendants movie that's come out. It's basically all the villains in the Disney realm have been rounded up onto this island. Their children have been raised to be villains because that's what their parents are. And I haven't personally read Isle of the Lost, but I have seen the Disney Descendants movie. I thought it was super cute. If you like Disney Channel original movies, you'll love this one. And even if you just like Disney movies, I thought it was really fun to go see these actors portray such staple characters like Maleficent and like Sleeping Beauty, and to see their children and what has become of their children in this Disney run world. I thought it would be fun if I sang a little tune from all of the different Disney movies that are a part of this tag and see if you can't guess, you know, where it's coming from. You should be able to guess. It shouldn't be too terribly hard, but we'll see. So for the first one, we have this. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm a girl who has everything? The Little Mermaid. And for this particular section, you're supposed to pick a character who is out of their element, a fish out of water. And I have picked Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, Kath specifically, from this book. Basically, it's about a fangirl named Kath who has taken over as the care provider, really, in her family after her mother died. It's about her journey in starting college and starting to become independent and only responsible for herself. It's a completely different role than she's used to, and she also has a lot of social anxiety, which I personally hardcore relate with. I actually picked this book up at the perfect time. It was a summer before I myself started college, and at first it scared me to death because Kath was not doing well, and I thought, oh no, that's gonna be me. But towards the end, she really comes into herself as a character and as a woman, and it's really, really great to see. So, Fangirl. A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. Number 2 is Cinderella. Oh, I love Cinderella. And for this one, you are supposed to pick a character who goes through immense character development. For Cinderella, I have picked Shatter by Tahereh Mafi. Specifically Juliet. She not only goes through a huge character arc within this book, but throughout the trilogy on a whole. She really, like, starkly is just a completely different person from beginning to end. And there's many other characters in this series as well that undergo severe character development. Severe. I don't want to spoil you guys, so go ahead and go read it and see if you can't figure out who I'm talking about. For those of you who have read, you know. I can't whistle super well, but hopefully you were able to figure out that that is Snow White. Whistle while you work. I thought I would whistle it. That may or may not have been a terrible decision, but for Snow White, you are supposed to pick a book with an eclectic cast of characters. Whew, that is a mouthful. Eclectic cast of characters. Eclectic cast of characters. I have chosen The Lightning Thief by Uncle Rick / Rick Riordan. If you don't know this book, I don't know where you've been. This particular book came out whenever I was in 4th grade. I picked it up whenever I was in 7th grade, so I was a little bit late to the party. Just fashionably late, darling. Just fashionably late. But anyway, this book is, guys, it's so good. I'm sure you've heard other booktubers rave and your friends rave and just the New York Times bestseller list just rave and rave about these books. Not only are these characters eclectic in their physicalities, like some of them are half goat, some of them are half horse, some of them are half god, so there's that. But then there's also just the fact that Rick Riordan is so good at creating so many different characters and just showing you development through each and every one of them. It's great. I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. Number 4 is Sleeping Beauty, and this one is pick a book that put you to sleep. For this one, I don't want to be harsh on a book, but I'm gonna be harsh on a book. Teardrop by Lauren Kate. Now this book isn't horrible. It's not like, oh my gosh, this book is the death of all books. It's nothing like that. It's just, for me personally, it really was not my cup of tea. I read it a couple years back, so I don't particularly remember all of the details, but I want to say it's about a girl who is from Atlantis, but she grew up in the human world, and if she ever cries, she will destroy the world somehow. Let's read the back. Everything you love can be washed away. Well, darn it, now I wished I loved this book so that it could be washed away from me. I didn't like the characters. I thought there were some plot holes. The story wasn't necessarily exciting enough for me. I'm sure there are people out there who love this book, but for me, again, personally, it just was not my cup of tea. Reaching the halfway point, we have Svinia Bubblissimo Vinyawa Vinyawa. I have no idea if those are even remotely the correct words. And for The Lion King, you need to pick a character who had something traumatic happen in their childhood. This question particularly got me thinking about Disney characters and their childhoods. They're horrible. Like, I was trying to think of a character who didn't have a traumatic background, and I was having problems. Like, maybe Mulan, but even then, her father went off to war when she was young, and he came back and he was deformed from the war. Like, that's hard to live through. That's not an easy thing. I guess conflict makes things interesting. The first rule of a writer. Conflict. You gots to have conflict or else you got nothing. This book, I have picked Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Katniss, basically whenever she was 11 years old, her father, who was a coal miner, was blown to bits in a coal mine, and her mother sank into a deep depression, and Katniss was forced to take on the provider role for her mother and her sister. And she was forced to grow up really fast, and it gave her some serious trust issues, this ordeal, which of course, who wouldn't it give serious trust issues? Like, let's be real. But anyway, I love The Hunger Games. I love it so much. Just go read it. And go watch the movies too. The movies are fantastic, which is a rarity, so utilize that. Tale as old as time, rising in the east. Beauty and the Beast. Oh, guys, I love Beauty and the Beast. It was my favorite, my absolute favorite growing up. I would watch the film on loop. I had it on VHS. I would stick it in the little rewinder machine we had, would rewind it all the way, and I'd watch it like 4 or 5 times a day. For this particular movie, you were supposed to pick a book that is a beast. It came across as just this huge, hunking, massive book that you thought to yourself, I will never, ever just make it through the book. It was intimidating to you. But then once you got to it, and once you read it, you realized it was truly beautiful. So for this, I am picking The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This is unique because I have all of the books in one bind up. Look at that. And look at these words. Look at them. Look how small they are. Guys, I got this in elementary school. I made it through about 1/3 of The Magician's Nephew, and I just couldn't anymore. And I picked it up later on in junior high. It was a smart decision for me, and I actually just blew through the first 4. I absolutely loved them. However, I never really did get around to reading the 5th, 6th, and 7th book. Not saying that I didn't enjoy them, it never happened, and God willing, it'll happen eventually, but you guys know how TBRs are. They're my list and just my stack, my metaphorical stack of books, because honestly, it's so huge, I can't even make a real stack of books because it would just fall over and like kill me in the middle of the night. But yeah, I love these guys. Just go read them. They're great. Rift Raft, Street Rat, I don't buy that. If only they'd look closer. That was literally my favorite song out of all of them in the entire Aladdin movie. Anyway, back to it. For Aladdin, you were supposed to pick a character that gets their wish granted for better or for worse. So for this one, I actually picked Fairest, but not the Fairest you're thinking of. I picked Fairest by Gail, Carson, Levine. She actually is the same writer of Ella Enchanted, and this book is set in the same world. I don't know if you remember the fairy Lucinda, but she is in both of these books. I love this book. I've read it 3 times, I think. It's basically actually Snow White retelling, but it's about this girl who was given to this family. She was adopted, kind of, and she is the ugliest girl around. Like, everyone thinks she is just horrendous, and which is a nice twist, I think, to the original Snow White tale. And one day she's called to court, and she ends up finding this magic mirror that says that it can grant any wish she has, and she wishes to be the fairest of them all. So pick this book up and see if that changed her life for better or for worse. When will my reflection show who I am inside? Number 9 is Mulan. Oh, guys, Mulan's great. But for Mulan, you're supposed to pick a character who pretends to be someone or something that they are not. For this, I have chosen Mare Barrow from The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. In this society of Red Queen, if you don't know about it yet, there are these people, these red-blooded people who actually have red blood, and they are oppressed by silver-blooded people. They also have powers, and through these powers they have been able to oppress and put into slavery the Reds. Basically, Mare Barrow is a Red, and one day she is serving silvers at an event, and she falls into an electric force field. And instead of frying up like a little crispy fry, which is what she should have done, she realizes that she can control electricity, and this is an anomaly. But because it was televised, this event was televised, and everyone saw her fall in, they can't just kill her. They have to assimilate her. So they pretend that she's been silver all along and that she was a long-lost silver. It's really great. You should go read it. 2 more to go, 2 more to go. Ah. You've got a friend in me. Aw, you guys, I'm so happy they included Pixar on this list. It makes me a happy camper. It really does. So number 9 is Toy Story, and for this you are supposed to pick a book that you want the characters to come to life. The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare, which is the prequel trilogy to The Mortal Instruments. It's honestly one of my favorite book series ever. They're great. If I could talk books with Tessa and Will, and if Jim could teach me to play the violin, and if I could go into, we don't really have a basement in my house, but we have an attic. If we could go into the attic with Henry Branwell, and if he could just teach me how to do experiments, like, I feel like I'd actually like science. Guys. Dream come true. Rounding us out at number 10, we have Rotten to the Core. That was me attempting to break it down. How did I do? It is Descendants, Disney's Descendants. For this one, you are supposed to pick your all-time favorite villain. This was hard for me because did I want to pick a villain who was not that bad of a villain and didn't hurt my characters that I love very much, or did I want to just pick a villain who is so good at villaining he could never not be a villain? So I went somewhere, I guess I went to the extreme. Erebrin Hamel from The Throne of Glass, the King of Assassins himself. You guys, in this particular book, you don't know how truly evil this guy is. Like this guy. But once you get to Heir of Fire, and if you read the prequel novella, like, series, Bind Up, which is called The Assassin's Blade, which I highly recommend that you do, you see how utterly twisted this man is, and just how utterly selfish he is, and it makes my skin crawl to think about him and to just think of the ways that he's treated Selena and these other people that are in his assassins little guild. It is horrible. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching my Disney book tag, my first ever booktube video. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like me, please subscribe to my channel, MJ Varvel. I will be posting more book talks and book tags and things later, once I learn how to edit. That's one thing that I'm a little scared. I have to learn how to edit. I will list all of the books I talked about in the description. Go ahead and tell me what you would pick for this book tag, or if you want to create a video yourself, go ahead and create a video yourself. It was super fun for me. I had a blast putting this together. Actually, I had way more fun than I thought I was going to. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Remember, don't knock it till you read it.